It is scary. I'm a vegan, so I only eat crops.
What I would like to see is some certification that the food that I'm eating is safe.
I don't see how people could want to eat something that's been tainted with those chemicals.
If you have oranges, grapes, or almonds in your kitchen, it's likely they came from Kern County in California's Central Valley. And this is the water that's used to help irrigate some of those crops. If you think that black, shiny sheen looks like oil, you're right. The Cawelo Water District buys 21 million gallons of it each day from oil company Chevron. 90 farmers use it to irrigate their fields. It's been happening for more than 2 decades, but as the drought worsens, some environmental groups are asking, what's in the water?
See that pipe where it comes out? That's from the 8-mile Chevron pipe.
Scott Smith, chief scientist with the advocacy group Water Defense, took me on a tour of the irrigation canal. Chevron has already treated this water and considers it clean. Still, you can see and smell the oil. The strong smell of oil that is overwhelming. What is that telling us?
It's telling us that there's dangerous volatile chemicals in the air. So we just taken this open-celled material.
Smith has spent a lot of time out here collecting water samples for testing.
From the testing we've done, it appears as though the harmful chemicals are not removed.
What are those chemicals?
The chemicals include methylene chloride, acetone, and dichlorobenzene. I do know that these chemicals in the water are considered toxic, poisonous, and cancerous.
Have you tested the crops?
The preliminary crop testing came back with C20 to C40 hydrocarbons, otherwise known as diesel range organics, otherwise known as oil, that matched up with the same chemicals, oil, that we found in the canal.
We wanted to ask those in charge if the levels of chemicals found in Water Defense's test results are harmful, but the state's lead regulatory agency for the oil and gas industry refers all questions on water quality to the Water Quality Control Board. That state board told us to talk to the regional board, which declined our request for an interview. The California Department of Public Health said more data is needed on safety, but referred questions to the regional board as well. California's Department of Agriculture says they don't have jurisdiction over water-related issues, which leaves us with the Cawelo Water District, a cooperative managed by local farmers to acquire and divvy up available irrigation water to 90 farms in Kern County.
This water is very good and very safe to use for irrigation.
When you go along the canal system, you can smell the oil, and a lot of times there's a little bit of an oil slick. What are the booms there for?
Well, the booms are there to contain any free oil that may come through. Now, this is not a perfect process. There may be some oil that comes through, very small amounts. These booms will contain it so that it doesn't get out into the irrigation system.
Most oil fields produce water.
Chevron didn't return our phone calls or emails, but in this promotional video says using so-called produced water is safe.
Through the process of gravity separation, the water and oil virtually separate.
And public records show that in April, Chevron conducted its own test, which did find elevated levels of acetone, but unlike Water Defense's test, found no traces of methylene chloride. Why didn't they test from the beginning to see if there are any remnants of oil production in this water that's going directly to the crops?
Well, they have been testing for the oil and grease contaminants in the water, and those were far below the standards set by the regional board. That's as far as any of us looked.
Should you have looked farther, though?
Well, we are now. The regional board is putting together a task force, or a technical advisory committee, to look into, are there other things we should look at to ensure this water is as safe as we all think it is.
But why weren't those tests specifically required from the beginning?
They were not required.
Soil and irrigation scientist Blake Sandin says he believes the water is safe, and without it, 90 farmers would be forced to fallow their fields.
We need to find any drop of water that's suitable and will not be a problem for human health, not be a problem for plant health, to allow us to irrigate our crops because we do not have enough water.
The issue of using produced water makes farmers skittish, and it is not something they want to talk about. We reached out to more than 20. The majority didn't return our phone calls, and none of the farmers wanted to be interviewed on camera. The farmers may not want to talk, but shoppers at the farmers market had plenty to say.
People feel a little helpless when it comes to that kind of stuff because they feel like they don't have control over the crops that they consume.
Jennifer London, Al Jazeera, Kern County, California.